Nostradamus, scary forecasts and predictions in 2025, it's happening. The future is never certain, but it is always closer than we think. As the world stands on the edge of 2025, questions about what lies ahead stir both curiosity and unease. In a time of rapid transformations, one name resurfaces, casting a shadow of mystery and forewarning: Nostradamus. The legendary 16th century French astrologer left us with thousands of cryptic quatrains, four-line verses packed with hidden meanings. From predicting monumental events like the rise of Napoleon and the moon landing to disasters that shook humanity, Nostradamus's writings continue to captivate our imagination. But what if some of his most haunting predictions are meant for our immediate future? Today, on The Journey of Wisdom, we're unraveling Nostradamus's most spine-chilling forecasts for 2025. Could he have foreseen global upheavals, technological revolutions, or an event that shifts the very foundation of our society? The answers may surprise you, and they might even make you rethink the path we're on. Before we dive in, if unraveling history's enigmas and exploring the mysteries of existence excites you, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. By doing so, you'll join a community that seeks to decode the past, present, and future together. Stay with us until the end, because the final prediction might leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the world ahead. Now, let's unveil Nostradamus's most shocking visions for 2025, a year that could redefine humanity's journey. Number 1. Climate change and natural disasters. Nostradamus, the enigmatic seer whose cryptic verses have captivated humanity for centuries, warned of catastrophic events that eerily mirror what we face today. Among his foreboding predictions, one stands out starkly: a great city will be ravaged by waters, and the world will suffer from pestilence. As we step into 2025, this prophecy seems to echo the mounting crises of our times. Climate change, once a distant concern, is now an undeniable force reshaping the very fabric of our existence. With every passing year, the Earth bears the scars of human inaction. Relentless hurricanes batter coastlines, wildfires reduce verdant landscapes to ash, and catastrophic floods displace countless lives. Each disaster seems to validate the warnings of both ancient mystics and modern scientists, urging us to confront an escalating climate emergency. The science behind this transformation is both enlightening and alarming. Rising global temperatures, primarily driven by greenhouse gas emissions, are amplifying weather patterns to an extreme degree. This warming accelerates the intensity of storms, prolongs droughts, and fuels the conditions for rampant wildfires. When Nostradamus spoke of waters ravaging a great city, could he have envisioned the coastal inundations caused by melting polar ice caps and rising sea levels? Cities such as Miami, Venice, and Jakarta are already grappling with this grim reality, their streets periodically submerged by what were once rare high tides. Furthermore, the pestilence he foretold could easily be linked to the spread of diseases exacerbated by changing climates, from malaria in warming regions to respiratory ailments worsened by polluted air and wildfire smoke. Yet these warnings are not mere portents of doom, they are calls to action. The modern implications of Nostradamus's visions challenge us to examine our role in the unfolding drama of climate change. It's not simply about surviving the storms, but learning to prevent them. Efforts to mitigate climate change, reducing carbon emissions, adopting sustainable energy, and rethinking our consumption are no longer optional but essential for humanity's continuity. As the renowned environmentalist Rachel Carson once said, In nature, nothing exists alone. Our interconnectedness with the planet underscores that every action, however small, ripples outward, affecting not only our immediate surroundings, but future generations. This reflection on Nostradamus's predictions also offers a deeper lesson, the necessity of hope and collective effort. It is easy to succumb to fear when confronted with challenges of this magnitude, but history shows that humanity has the capacity to adapt and overcome. Community resilience, technological innovation, and global cooperation can turn the tide, proving that the future is not a fixed destiny, but a malleable path we shape together. In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, the future depends on what you do today. As we navigate these turbulent times, let us not see Nostradamus's forecasts as inevitable doom, but as a wake-up call to embrace change and responsibility. Number 2, the shift in global power from west to east. Nostradamus predicted events that continue to captivate our imaginations, and his forecast for a shift in global power resonates profoundly with today's world. Could 2025 mark the beginning of a new era? He wrote, "The West will weaken as the East grows strong, and great power will move to where the sun rises." This poetic imagery seems eerily reflective of modern trends where economic, technological, and military dominance may be shifting from the Western world to the East. The question we must ask ourselves is this: how prepared are we for such a transformation, and what might it mean for our future? Take a moment to consider the rise of China, a nation that has experienced extraordinary growth over the past few decades. Nostradamus's reference to the dragon emerging from the East aligns almost seamlessly with China's cultural symbolism and its increasingly pivotal role on the global stage. From groundbreaking technological achievements to an expanding military presence, China appears poised to redefine global power structures. Nostradamus also spoke of the forge of the dragon bringing new power and order to the globe. Could this forge be the unstoppable momentum of innovation, infrastructure, and influence that China wields today? If so, how will this shape international relations, trade policies, and even our daily lives in the years to come? For centuries, the Western world, led by the United States, has been the driving force behind global culture, economy, and politics. From Hollywood to Silicon Valley, from NATO alliances to the dominance of the dollar, American influence has been a cornerstone of modern civilization. But as we stand at this potential turning point, Nostradamus's vision challenges us to imagine a world where this dominance wanes. What would it mean for the United States to lose its status as the preeminent global power? How might this alter the balance of international alliances, the structure of global trade, or even the way societies function? As the Buddha once said, change is never painful, only resistance to change is painful. Are we ready to embrace the shifts that may come, or are we clinging to the comfort of a fading order? The idea of an Eastern-led world raises profound questions. Will this shift bring greater unity and innovation, or will it spark competition and conflict? Nostradamus often spoke in riddles, leaving much open to interpretation, but his insights push us to reflect on the cycles of history. Power has always moved between civilizations, from the Roman Empire to the British Empire, and now perhaps to the East. Is this merely the natural rhythm of human progress, or is there something more ominous about this transition? And how do we as individuals adapt to a world where the centers of influence shift so dramatically? Let's hear your thoughts. Do you believe the era of Western dominance is nearing its end? If so, what opportunities and challenges do you think an Eastern-led world might present? Remember, history is not just about observing change, it's about understanding and preparing for it. So, as you ponder these questions, ask yourself, what role do you play in shaping the world of tomorrow? After all, as the Buddha reminds us, with our thoughts, we make the world. Number 3. Shifting alliances and betrayal. Betrayal and shifting alliances have long been a poignant theme in history, and Nostradamus's quatrains capture this unsettling reality with remarkable foresight. He writes, "The great empire will be replaced by another, and in a small place of little area, they will come to expose the false ambitions of the man from the West." These words point to a world where trust erodes and bonds forged in unity crumble, replaced by a tangled web of rivalry and deception. As we move into 2025, the implications of these predictions resonate deeply with our modern political landscape, where alliances once thought unbreakable teeter precariously on the edge of collapse. In recent years, we've witnessed the fragility of international partnerships, whether it's the unease within NATO, trade disagreements among Asia-Pacific nations, or the complexities of US-European relations. Nostradamus's warning about alliances unraveling and hidden ambitions coming to light feels eerily relevant. Political tension has become an undercurrent of global affairs, where shifting interests and evolving priorities expose cracks in even the strongest coalitions. Could this be what Nostradamus foresaw? A global reshuffling of power where the balance tilts unexpectedly, leaving former allies at odds and smaller nations stepping into pivotal roles. The idea of a small place of little area rising to challenge the man from the West could suggest that overlooked players in the global arena might hold more influence than previously imagined. This serves as a cautionary tale for our interconnected world. In an age where globalization has tied nations together through trade, technology, and shared challenges, the breakdown of trust can have ripple effects that disrupt not only politics, but economies and societies. Reflecting on the fragile alliances in today's world, one might think of the US and Europe, long-standing partners whose relationship is tested by diverging goals on issues like trade, climate change, and defense. Or consider the ongoing competition for influence in regions like Africa and the Indo-Pacific, where smaller nations are courted by superpowers, potentially sowing seeds of division. The lesson here is timeless yet urgent. Relationships, whether between nations or individuals, thrive on trust and mutual respect. As Benjamin Franklin wisely said, distrust and caution are the parents of security. Nostradamus's quatrains remind us of the dangers of hidden motives and the vulnerability of partnerships that lack transparency. In our personal lives, this mirrors how friendships and collaborations falter when true intentions are obscured. The antidote, whether on the world stage or in our daily interactions, lies in fostering open communication, prioritizing shared values, and recognizing the importance of interdependence. As we consider Nostradamus's prediction for 2025, it invites us to look inward and outward. On a global level, it challenges leaders to rethink how alliances are built and maintained in an era of rapid change. For us as individuals, it encourages mindfulness about the relationships we cultivate and the intentions we bring to them. If we can learn from history, heed its warnings, and approach the future with compassion and integrity, we might avoid the chaos foretold and instead create a world bound not by fear and betrayal, but by trust and collaboration. You've stayed this far, which means you're ready to dive deeper into Nostradamus's eerie predictions for 2025. Drop a comment with "Ready for 2025" to show your curiosity and commitment to staying informed. Don't miss the incredible revelations still to come. Watch until the end to uncover what the future might hold for all of us. Number 4. The threat of a Third World War. The thought of a Third World War is one of the most unsettling forecasts attributed to Nostradamus, a figure whose enigmatic writings have fascinated and unnerved humanity for centuries. In one particularly haunting prophecy, he wrote, "In the city of God there will be a great thunder, two brothers torn apart by chaos." While this cryptic verse leaves much to interpretation, many believe it points to the increasing tensions between global powers, perhaps nations like the United States and China. Today, when we observe the geopolitical tensions in Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and across Asia, it's difficult to dismiss the unsettling possibility of his words aligning with current events. Could two brothers torn apart by chaos symbolize rival nations, ideologies, or even leaders whose ambitions and conflicts threaten to disrupt the fragile balance of peace? Some suggest that Nostradamus foresaw not just war, but the collapse of leadership during these turbulent times, with chaos taking the reins. It's a chilling thought, especially when we consider how humanity's history is often shaped by cycles of power struggles and violence. But does it have to be this way? The Buddha once said, "Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal rule." Could this ancient wisdom be the key to breaking the cycle, even in the face of such ominous predictions? The question we must ask ourselves is, are we doomed to follow the trajectory of conflict, or can we change the course of history? If Nostradamus's predictions are warnings rather than inevitabilities, what actions can we take to promote understanding, compassion, and peace among nations? The global challenges we face today, climate change, economic inequality, and resource scarcity, are immense, but they also remind us of our interconnectedness. Can we use this awareness to find unity instead of division? As we reflect on these possibilities, it's worth considering how much of our future depends on the choices we make right now. Nostradamus's predictions may stir fear, but they also inspire caution and perhaps even hope that we can rise above the chaos he foresaw. Number 5. AI Domination. We stand at the crossroads of an extraordinary technological revolution, and yet Nostradamus's cryptic warnings make us wonder if this is only the beginning of something far greater and more unsettling. The great seer famously wrote of a lone brain that would overshadow humanity, a phrase eerily resonant with the rise of artificial intelligence in our modern age. When he described it as immortal in its function, one cannot help but think of AI systems capable of functioning indefinitely, evolving without the frailties and limitations of the human brain. Such a description stirs both awe and apprehension as we approach 2025, a year that could see AI advancing beyond mere tools to become essential architects of the world we live in. Nostradamus's vision suggests a future where AI doesn't just augment human capability, but begins to redefine it entirely. Already we see this unfolding. Automation in industries like manufacturing and logistics has replaced human labor, while machine learning algorithms streamline decision-making in finance, healthcare, and even governance. By 2025, AI could become deeply entrenched in nearly every aspect of life, reshaping industries to the point where human intervention may seem almost redundant. Think about it. Industries that once thrived on human expertise may shift to complete dependence on machines, leading to job displacement on an unprecedented scale. This foretold dominance of AI compels us to ask, are we fostering a new era of collaboration Or are we unwittingly creating an overlord we cannot control? The quatrain's hint of an immortal brain sparks another profound question. What happens when the tools we create outpace our own understanding of them? In a world increasingly reliant on algorithms, there's a risk of losing not just control, but agency. AI systems, once fully integrated, could influence decisions that shape economies, legislate governance, and even impact personal freedoms. Such a scenario isn't science fiction, it's a trajectory we're already on. From self-driving cars to AI-powered healthcare diagnoses, we're delegating decisions to systems that process faster and, often, more accurately than humans. But with this delegation comes a price. Are we prepared for the ethical dilemmas that will arise when machines wield power that once rested in human hands? As we reflect on Nostradamus's forewarnings, we must remember the wisdom of Albert Einstein, who once said, "The unleashed power of the atom has changed everything except our way of thinking, and thus we drift toward unparalleled catastrophe." Could AI become the modern equivalent of this unleashed power? If so, we must evolve not only technologically but morally and ethically. Humanity must set boundaries, ensuring that AI serves as a partner rather than a ruler. Regulation, transparency, and intentional development are critical if we are to harness AI for good without succumbing to its potential risks. This isn't a story of despair, but a call to reflection. While the rise of AI can feel intimidating, it also offers immense possibilities, curing diseases, solving climate change, and connecting humanity in ways previously unimaginable. Yet, as Nostradamus seems to remind us, balance is key. The same tool that enables great progress can lead to irreversible harm if wielded irresponsibly. Let us not rush forward blindly, but instead approach this era with wisdom, mindfulness, and a commitment to ethical progress. In doing so, we might avoid a future where AI overshadows humanity and instead build one where it enhances what it means to be human. The question remains, will we shape AI or will AI shape us? Number 6. Energy crisis. What if I told you that humanity could be on the brink of an energy crisis that challenges not just our comfort, but our very survival? Nostradamus, the famous 16th century seer, warned of such a possibility with a cryptic prophecy. The sky will burn at 45 degrees. Fire approaches the great new city. While interpretations vary, many believe this could point to events tied to energy, such as devastating oil spills, nuclear accidents, or conflicts erupting over dwindling resources. This isn't just about a lack of fuel for cars or power for homes. It's about how energy scarcity could disrupt our interconnected world, bringing economic hardship, social unrest, and possibly even war. Doesn't it make you wonder, are we truly prepared for a future where our energy systems might fail us? Picture a world in 2025 where the demand for energy far exceeds the supply. Fossil fuels, once abundant, become rare commodities, driving nations into desperate competition for the last remnants. This isn't just speculation. History has shown that resource scarcity often leads to conflict. Yet, unlike in the past, today's energy crisis would not just disrupt individual countries. It could shake the entire global economy and strain international relations. The potential consequences are vast. Widespread blackouts, businesses shutting down, and even basic needs like heating, transportation, and communication being put at risk. Buddhism teaches us the value of impermanence. Nothing is permanent. Everything is subject to change. This reminds us that clinging to outdated ways of generating and consuming energy is not only unsustainable, but also contrary to the natural order of growth and adaptation. If we heed this wisdom, we can use the looming crisis as an opportunity to embrace renewable and sustainable energy solutions. Solar, wind, and other clean technologies are no longer dreams of the future. They are available now. Consider the interdependence of all things, a concept central to Buddhist thought. Our over-reliance on fossil fuels not only depletes finite resources, but also harms the environment, causing climate shifts and natural disasters that compound our energy challenges. Nostradamus' vision of fire approaching the great city could well be a warning about the very real dangers of neglecting this interconnectedness. The energy crisis foretold by Nostradamus serves as a wake-up call for humanity. Instead of succumbing to fear, let us find hope in the Buddhist principle of right effort. This teaches us to channel our energy into actions that reduce harm and promote well-being for all. Transitioning to clean energy isn't just about technology. It's about creating a sustainable future rooted in mindfulness, compassion, and responsibility. So I ask you, how can each of us contribute to a world where energy is not a source of conflict but a shared blessing? The answer may shape not just our future, but the future of generations to come. By watching this far, you're already taking the first steps to understanding Nostradamus' shocking forecasts for 2025. Comment 2025 Unveiled to join the conversation and share your thoughts on what's ahead. Stay tuned until the end. We're about to reveal the most eye-opening predictions yet. Number 7. Advances in genetic and bioengineering. The writings of Nostradamus, often shrouded in cryptic language, have long fascinated those seeking to understand the future. Among his predictions, one stands out in its chilling relevance to our modern world: the remarkable advancements in genetic and bioengineering. Nostradamus hinted at a time when science would set apart 9 from the human flock, suggesting transformative manipulations of human biology that defy natural boundaries. In our era, this aligns strikingly with breakthroughs in genetic engineering technologies such as CRISPR, which allow us to edit DNA with unprecedented precision. These advancements hold promise for miraculous progress, like curing hereditary diseases, enhancing agricultural sustainability, and potentially unlocking the secrets of human longevity. Yet, with this power comes a shadow of ethical uncertainty. How we choose to wield these tools will determine whether they become a source of hope or a harbinger of division. Today, scientists have achieved feats that once seemed confined to science fiction. Crops are engineered to withstand harsh climates. Treatments for previously untreatable genetic disorders are within reach, and the possibility of designer babies is no longer a mere theory. But as the lines between what is natural and what is engineered blur, profound questions arise. Nostradamus' imagery warns us of the potential for these advancements to divide society, not just biologically, but socially and economically. If genetic enhancements become accessible only to the wealthy, we risk creating an even wider gap between the privileged and the marginalized, echoing Aldous Huxley's dystopian vision in Brave New World. Will we become a society where one's genetic makeup dictates their opportunities and worth, leading to new forms of discrimination? Reflecting on this, we are reminded of Albert Einstein's caution. It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity. While the possibilities of genetic and bioengineering are awe-inspiring, they compel us to ask, are we ready to handle this power responsibly? In modern life, the rush to innovate often outpaces our ability to foresee the consequences. History has shown that technological leaps, like the Industrial Revolution or the dawn of nuclear power, brought both progress and peril. Similarly, genetic engineering could yield cures for suffering and solutions to hunger, but without careful oversight, it could also lead to abuses of power, unforeseen side effects, and ethical catastrophes. As we stand on the precipice of this scientific revolution, let us consider the wisdom of using these tools not just for individual gain, but for collective good. A world where advancements in genetics are shared equitably with strict ethical guidelines offers the chance to unite humanity in its pursuit of better health, sustainability, and resilience. However, this requires more than scientific knowledge. It demands wisdom, compassion, and humility. The teachings of Buddhism remind us to act with mindfulness, ensuring our actions align with principles of doing good and avoiding harm. Can we adopt these values as we navigate the unprecedented power of bioengineering? Nostradamus's forewarning is not just a glimpse of a distant future, but a call to reflection for our present. The future we create with genetic and bioengineering depends on the choices we make today. Let us strive to ensure these advancements become a tool for healing and hope, rather than a source of division and fear. In the words of Mahatma Gandhi, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. By prioritizing ethical stewardship and the well-being of all, we can transform the ominous potential Nostradamus foresaw into a legacy of unity and progress. Number 8. A major volcanic eruption. Let's dive into a chilling vision that Nostradamus might have shared with us about 2025, a year that, according to his cryptic quatrains, could witness a catastrophic volcanic eruption. His words, "The earth will shake around the new city, the sky will catch fire over the ocean, and flames will engulf," seem to paint an ominous picture of nature's fury unleashed. Could this point to a supervolcano, perhaps Yellowstone in the United States, finally erupting after centuries of slumber? Scientists have long warned that certain supervolcanoes are overdue, and their awakening would bring not just localized devastation, but global consequences. Imagine entire regions buried under ash, the sun dimmed by volcanic clouds, and climate patterns thrown into disarray. What might our world look like if such a powerful force of nature erupted in our time? But let's pause for a moment and reflect. Why do predictions like these captivate us so deeply? Is it our fear of the unknown, or is it a reminder of the fragile balance we exist in, constantly at the mercy of forces far beyond our control? The Buddha once said, "Even as a mighty rock is unshaken by the wind, so is the wise man unshaken by praise or blame." In the face of such terrifying possibilities, are we prepared to remain calm and grounded, or will fear dictate our actions? Events like these also invite us to ask, what are we doing to live in harmony with the earth? Are we acting as mindful stewards of this planet, or are we contributing to the very changes that might hasten such disasters? Experts warn that the ripple effects of a supervolcanic eruption wouldn't just stop at physical destruction. Massive ash clouds could block sunlight, plunging regions into prolonged darkness and disrupting agriculture on a global scale. The resulting famine, economic collapse, and societal unrest could alter the world as we know it. Yet history has shown that humanity is resilient. We've faced challenges of unimaginable magnitude before and emerged, often stronger. Nostradamus's writings, though enigmatic, have often sparked intense debate about their meaning. While some see his quatrains as warnings of inevitable doom, others interpret them as an opportunity to change course. How do you see it? Are such forecasts simply a mirror reflecting our deepest fears, or could they serve as a wake-up call to act more responsibly toward each other and the planet? Perhaps the greatest takeaway isn't the fear of destruction, but the recognition of our interconnectedness. Just as one eruption could send ripples across the globe, so too can our actions today shape a better or worse tomorrow. Number 9. Spiritual awakening. As we edge closer to 2025, Nostradamus's predictions offer both a haunting reminder of life's uncertainties and a glimmer of hope rooted in profound spiritual transformation. Among his many forecasts, the one about humanity's spiritual awakening stands out, a call to look inward during times of chaos and crisis. Nostradamus envisioned a world where, faced with upheaval, people would shift their focus from the material to the spiritual, seeking solace and meaning beyond the physical. His words, "Those left behind will find new ways and means of faith," echo a timeless truth. In moments of despair, humanity often discovers its deepest strength in introspection and unity. This spiritual awakening can be seen as a necessary response to modern challenges, rapid technological advancements, environmental crises, and the widening gap between wealth and poverty. These issues weigh heavily on our collective consciousness, pushing us to question what truly matters. Nostradamus's prediction encourages us to reconnect with our inner selves and the values we hold dear. As Albert Einstein wisely said, "The world as we have created it is a process of our thinking. It cannot be changed without changing our thinking." This aligns beautifully with the idea that the transformation of society begins within each individual. When we shift our perspectives, seek deeper meaning, and prioritize compassion, we create ripples of change that extend far beyond ourselves. The prediction also serves as a metaphorical lantern in the darkness, a reminder that even when external circumstances feel bleak, we possess an innate ability to seek light and forge new paths. Much like a forest fire clears the way for fresh growth, times of crisis can catalyze profound personal and societal evolution. Nostradamus's vision is not just a warning, but also a message of empowerment. We can find unity by embracing shared values, exploring diverse beliefs, and opening ourselves to new ways of understanding. In our increasingly divided world, this idea resonates deeply, challenging us to let go of prejudices and focus on what binds us together as humans. In modern life, where distractions abound and societal pressures push us towards superficial pursuits, the notion of turning inward feels both radical and essential. Take a moment to reflect. How often do we pause in our day-to-day lives to truly connect with ourselves and those around us? Nostradamus's foresight nudges us to slow down, recalibrate, and find balance. As the poet Rumi beautifully said, "Do not be satisfied with the stories that come before you. Unfold your own myth." His words mirror the call for spiritual exploration, urging us to delve deeper into our unique journeys and rediscover what brings meaning to our lives. The silver lining Nostradamus suggests is not merely a distant possibility, it is a choice we can make today. By cultivating mindfulness, practicing empathy, and fostering a sense of community, we can navigate the uncertainties of 2025 and beyond with resilience and grace. Let us embrace this opportunity, not with fear, but with hope. For within every challenge lies the seed of transformation. As we stand on the precipice of change, Nostradamus's message reminds us that the path forward begins not with grand gestures, but with quiet, intentional steps inward. Number 10. Deep space exploration and asteroid threats. Let's talk about something fascinating and perhaps a little unnerving. Nostradamus's predictions about space exploration and the looming possibility of an asteroid impact. Nostradamus, a figure shrouded in mystery and intrigue, is often quoted for his chilling prophecies. One of his more cryptic statements, "Fire from the heavens will fall upon the great city," might make you wonder, could he have been foreseeing the dangers lurking in the vast, uncharted territories of space? Today, as we stand on the brink of remarkable advancements in space exploration, it's worth considering if his vision could hold some truth for us in 2025. Modern space agencies like NASA, ESA, and others are tracking asteroids with incredible precision. Yet, despite these advancements, space remains unpredictable and vast. Every day, scientists discover new celestial bodies that could pose a threat to Earth. Could 2025 be the year we face a significant cosmic challenge? Nostradamus' words might feel like a poetic riddle, but they could also serve as a reminder of our vulnerability in the universe. Think about it. Our planet is but a tiny speck in a galaxy filled with asteroids, comets, and other cosmic debris. While some of these objects have passed us harmlessly, the question lingers: what if one doesn't? Buddhist wisdom teaches us the importance of living in harmony with the universe, embracing the unknown with mindfulness rather than fear. As the Buddha said, the trouble is, you think you have time. Are we using the time we have wisely to prepare for these potential challenges? This isn't just about technology or science. It's about how humanity as a whole views its relationship with the cosmos. The beauty of deep space exploration is that it not only reveals threats, but also sparks hope. New discoveries could lead to incredible innovations, from protecting Earth to possibly finding life beyond our planet. But with hope comes responsibility. How can we balance the excitement of discovery with the necessity of caution? What can we learn from Nostradamus' words and the wisdom of ancient teachings to ensure we act with foresight and mindfulness? Imagine looking up at the night sky, filled with countless stars, and asking yourself, what is our role in this grand universe? Are we merely spectators, or do we have a duty to safeguard not only our world, but the future of our species? Nostradamus' predictions, whether they come true or not, offer us a chance to reflect deeply on these questions. As we step into 2025, it's not just about fearing what might come, but embracing the opportunity to learn, grow, and unite as a global community. Thank you for joining us in today's video about Nostradamus' scary forecasts and predictions for 2025. It's happening. I'm truly grateful to have you here as part of our community. Your presence means so much to us, and we'd love to hear your thoughts or personal impressions in the comments below. If you're new, feel free to introduce yourself by commenting, "I am a newbie." And if you've been with us for a while, let us know by saying, "I am curious." Your engagement not only enriches our conversations, but also inspires us to continue creating meaningful content. Now, let's dive back into this fascinating journey together. How we can remain peaceful and happy regardless of whatever happens. Teachings of Buddhism. Life is full of ups and downs, moments of joy and sorrow, and challenges that can leave us feeling overwhelmed. Yet, the teachings of Buddhism show us that peace and happiness are not dependent on external circumstances, they arise from within. By understanding timeless principles such as impermanence, karma, mindfulness, compassion, and gratitude, we can cultivate an inner calm that remains unshaken by life's storms. These teachings offer practical wisdom, reminding us that true happiness lies not in controlling the world around us, but in transforming the way we see and respond to it. Let's explore how these profound insights can guide us to live with peace, resilience, and joy, regardless of what comes our way. Number 1. Understanding Impermanence. Anicca. Understanding impermanence, or Anicca, is one of the cornerstone teachings in Buddhism, and it holds a profound key to finding peace and happiness regardless of life's circumstances. The concept is simple, yet transformative. Everything in life is subject to change, nothing remains permanent. At first glance, this truth might feel unsettling, as we often resist the idea that the things we cherish or the stability we seek are not eternal. But in embracing this reality, we unlock a freedom that allows us to live more peacefully. When we truly understand that impermanence is the natural order of life, we can begin to let go of the attachments that lead to our suffering when change inevitably comes. Consider how this understanding can be applied to everyday life. Our bodies are constantly changing, aging with each passing day. Our emotions rise and fall like waves, never staying the same. And our external circumstances, relationships, jobs, finances, are in a state of continuous flux. To cling tightly to any of these things, hoping they will remain as they are, is to set ourselves up for disappointment. Instead, we can learn to appreciate life's transient beauty. As the Buddha said, all conditioned things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. Reflecting on impermanence doesn't mean becoming indifferent or cold. Rather, it invites us to experience life fully in the present moment, savoring each experience without being bound by fear or craving. To cultivate this perspective, we must consciously practice recognizing impermanence in our daily lives. Take a moment each day to reflect on the changes you observe, whether it's the subtle shift in seasons, the growth of a loved one, or the way your own feelings evolve throughout the day. Accept these changes as natural and necessary, rather than resisting them. For example, when faced with a personal loss, be it the end of a relationship, a career setback, or even the passing of a loved one, reminding yourself of impermanence can be a source of comfort. It helps us see that pain and joy alike are fleeting, like clouds passing through the sky. As the poet Rumi wisely wrote, "Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one to come?" This teaching also offers practical wisdom for modern life, where change often feels overwhelming. In a world that moves at breakneck speed, with technology, social norms, and economies shifting constantly, we may find ourselves clinging to a false sense of control. But rather than resisting these changes, we can learn to flow with them, much like a river adapts to the rocks in its path. If a job becomes obsolete or a cherished plan doesn't unfold as expected, it's not the end. It's an opportunity to embrace what's next. By seeing change not as an adversary but as a teacher, we become more resilient and open to life's endless possibilities. This understanding is particularly valuable when dealing with relationships, a source of both great joy and great suffering. We often expect people to remain the same, forgetting that they too are subject to change. A spouse, a friend, or a child may grow in ways we didn't anticipate. By holding on to the idea of who they used to be, we create tension and disappointment. But when we acknowledge their impermanence, we can love them more deeply and authentically, appreciating them as they are in this moment. This also extends to ourselves. By accepting that we are constantly evolving, we free ourselves from the pressure to fit a fixed identity or live up to rigid expectations. In addition to fostering acceptance, reflecting on impermanence helps us cultivate gratitude. Knowing that nothing lasts forever encourages us to treasure the moments we have. It reminds us to say the kind word, to embrace a loved one, to savor the simple joys of life, because these moments will pass. As the philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This is not a morbid thought, but a powerful reminder to live fully and intentionally with an open heart. Finally, embracing impermanence teaches us to let go of unnecessary suffering. Much of our pain arises not from change itself, but from our resistance to it. When we cling to the past or fear the future, we rob ourselves of the peace available in the present moment. This is why mindfulness is such a valuable practice. By grounding ourselves in the here and now, we can face life's uncertainties with greater equanimity. We begin to see that just as difficult times don't last forever, neither do joyful ones. And that's okay. Life is a balance of both. And understanding this balance brings a profound sense of peace. In conclusion, the teaching of impermanence invites us to live with greater wisdom and compassion. It reminds us that change is not something to fear, but a natural part of existence. By reflecting on this truth, we can learn to let go of attachments, cultivate gratitude, and approach life with a sense of calm resilience. So the next time you find yourself resisting a change or longing for things to stay as they are, remember the words of the Buddha: "Let go, and you will have peace." It is in letting go that we find not loss, but freedom. And within that freedom lies the happiness we've been seeking all along. Number 2. Acceptance of karma, cause and effect. Have you ever wondered why certain things happen in your life? Why some days feel effortless while others feel like an uphill climb? In Buddhism, the answer often lies in understanding karma, the natural law of cause and effect. At its heart, karma is not about punishment or reward. It's about the ripple effects of our actions. Every thought, word, and deed creates energy that eventually comes back to us. When we embrace this truth, we unlock the secret to inner peace and happiness no matter what life throws at us. You see, accepting karma means accepting responsibility for our lives without blame or judgment. It's easy to point fingers when things go wrong or to curse our bad luck, but Buddhism teaches us that every experience is a result of seeds planted in the past, whether in this life or others. When we recognize this, we stop being victims of circumstances and start becoming active creators of our future. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we can ask, "What can I learn from this moment, and how can I respond skillfully?" This shift in perspective transforms challenges into opportunities and suffering into growth. Isn't it empowering to know that we hold the key to shaping our destiny? A story often shared in Buddhist teachings illustrates this beautifully. There was once a farmer who worked tirelessly on his land. One day, his horse ran away. Hearing the news, his neighbors came to offer their condolences. "What bad luck," they said. The farmer simply replied, "Maybe." A few days later, the horse returned, bringing with it a group of wild horses. This time, the neighbors came to celebrate. "What good fortune," they exclaimed. Again, the farmer replied, "Maybe." Soon after, the farmer's son tried to ride one of the wild horses, but he was thrown off and broke his leg. "What terrible luck," the neighbors said. The farmer's response remained the same, "Maybe." Not long after, soldiers came to the village to recruit young men for a war. Because of his broken leg, the farmer's son was spared. The neighbors marveled at the farmer's wisdom. Through every twist and turn of life, he remained calm and unshaken, understanding that life's events are part of a larger web of causes and effects, often beyond our immediate understanding. The farmer's story teaches us an invaluable lesson. When we accept karma, we can respond to life's ups and downs with equanimity. Instead of getting swept away by emotions or reacting impulsively, we learn to pause, observe, and act mindfully. This doesn't mean we become passive or indifferent. It means we approach life with awareness and wisdom. When faced with hardship, instead of dwelling on "why me?" we focus on "what now?" And when good fortune comes our way, we don't cling to it or take it for granted. We understand that everything is impermanent and always in motion. Living in alignment with the law of karma isn't about trying to control outcomes. It's about cultivating the right intentions and actions in the present moment. The Buddha often emphasized ethical living as a foundation for creating positive karma. This includes practicing compassion, generosity, and mindfulness. Think about it. When you help someone in need, not only do you brighten their day, but you also feel a sense of joy and connection. When you approach a conflict with kindness rather than anger, you plant seeds of harmony rather than discord. These small but meaningful actions ripple out into the world and eventually come back to you. Isn't it beautiful to know that every kind act you perform has the potential to create more kindness in your life? Now, let's reflect on what this means for your daily life. How often do you take a step back to consider the long-term impact of your actions? Are you sowing seeds of peace and happiness, or are you caught in cycles of negativity and reactivity? These are important questions to ask yourself because they remind you of the power you have in shaping your experience. By living ethically, practicing honesty, avoiding harm, and being mindful, you not only create positive karma, but also cultivate a sense of inner contentment. After all, peace comes from knowing that you've done your best to live with integrity and compassion. One practical way to start is by observing the Buddhist moral precepts. Avoid harming others, speak truthfully, act generously, and approach life with mindfulness. These principles aren't rigid rules. They're guiding lights that help us navigate life with wisdom and care. Another way is to practice gratitude. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, you naturally create a mindset of abundance and joy. And when you encounter difficulties, remind yourself that they too are part of the karmic unfolding. Can you meet them with patience and understanding? So, what's the takeaway? Karma teaches us that we are both the authors and the readers of our life stories. While we can't change the chapters already written, we have the power to shape what comes next. By living ethically, mindfully, and with compassion, we create a future filled with peace and happiness. The key is to remember that every moment is a chance to plant new seeds, seeds of kindness, generosity, and understanding. Number 3, practicing mindfulness. How can we remain peaceful and happy regardless of what happens in life? The answer lies in practicing mindfulness, a teaching deeply rooted in Buddhism and cherished by millions across the world. Mindfulness, at its core, means living fully in the present moment with a deep and non-judgmental awareness of what is happening both inside and around us. It is about anchoring ourselves to the now instead of being consumed by regrets of the past or anxieties about the future. As the Buddha once said, "Do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment." These words remind us that the present is the only place where life truly exists, and it is here where we can find peace. Think about how often your mind drifts away, replaying old conversations, mistakes, or experiences that make you feel uneasy. Or perhaps you find yourself worrying about what might happen tomorrow, next week, or even years down the line. This mental habit of clinging to the past or projecting into the future creates unnecessary stress and unhappiness. But mindfulness offers a way out. It teaches us to see the truth of the present moment clearly and accept it as it is, without adding layers of fear or judgment. Have you ever asked yourself what it might feel like to simply experience life as it unfolds, without trying to control or resist it? practicing mindfulness doesn't require you to change who you are or adopt a complicated routine. It's about making small, conscious choices throughout your day to focus on the here and now. One of the simplest ways to begin is with mindfulness meditation. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and pay attention to your breath. Notice the rhythm of each inhale and exhale. Feel the air moving in and out of your body. If your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring it back to the breath without judgment. This practice not only calms your thoughts, but also strengthens your ability to focus and find inner calm, even in challenging situations. Thich Nhat Hanh, a renowned Zen master, beautifully explained, "Feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor." Isn't it inspiring to think that something as simple as your breath can serve as a tool for peace? Mindfulness isn't limited to meditation. You can bring it into your daily life by paying attention to the ordinary things you do. For example, when walking, notice the sensation of your feet touching the ground, the texture of the air, or the sounds around you. Feel each step fully instead of letting your mind wander. When eating, take the time to savor each bite, noticing the flavors, textures, and even the act of chewing. It's not about being perfect or suppressing thoughts. It's about gently guiding your awareness back to the moment, over and over again. How often do you truly pay attention to the simple acts that make up your day? One of the gifts of mindfulness is that it helps us respond to life with wisdom instead of reacting impulsively. Imagine someone says something hurtful to you. Your first instinct might be to react angrily or defend yourself, but mindfulness creates a space between the stimulus and your response. In that space, you can pause, breathe, and choose a response that aligns with your values rather than one driven by emotion. As the Dalai Lama said, "Do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace." By cultivating mindfulness, you strengthen your ability to protect your peace no matter what challenges come your way. The beauty of mindfulness is that it doesn't promise to change the external circumstances of your life. Instead, it transforms the way you experience and relate to those circumstances. Whether you're dealing with joy, sorrow, anger, or fear, mindfulness teaches you to accept each moment as it is, without clinging to it or pushing it away. It allows you to witness your thoughts and emotions without being carried away by them. Have you ever considered that your thoughts and feelings are like clouds passing through the sky, and you, the observer, are the sky itself, vast, open, and unaffected by the passing storms? As you begin to practice mindfulness, you may notice a profound shift in how you experience life. You'll find greater appreciation for the small moments, a warm cup of tea, the sound of birds outside your window, or the smile of a loved one. You'll also build resilience, enabling you to face difficulties with greater calm and clarity. When the waves of life become turbulent, mindfulness acts as your anchor, grounding you in a place of peace and stability. And while the practice of mindfulness takes time and patience, the rewards are immeasurable. After all, what could be more valuable than learning to live with greater peace, happiness, and awareness in each moment? So I leave you with a question. How might your life change if you committed to living more mindfully, even in small ways? The journey begins with a single breath, a single moment of awareness. As you take this step, remember the wise words of the Buddha. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. The power to remain peaceful and happy, no matter what happens, is already within you. It's simply waiting for you to notice. If you've watched up to this point, you're already on the path to discovering how to stay peaceful and happy, no matter what life throws your way. Comment below with "peaceful journey" to affirm your commitment to embracing these timeless Buddhist teachings. Don't go anywhere. There's still so much wisdom to uncover. Stay with us until the end to learn how to bring lasting happiness and peace into your life. Number 4. Letting go. Letting go is one of the most profound teachings in Buddhism, offering a pathway to peace and happiness that transcends the ups and downs of daily life. At the heart of this concept lies a truth we often overlook. Much of our suffering stems from clinging, holding tightly to things we desire or resisting those we dislike. This clinging binds us, not just to objects or people, but to expectations, outcomes, and even the idea of who we think we should be. The more tightly we grasp, the more entangled we become in cycles of dissatisfaction and longing. Letting go, therefore, is not about rejecting life or detaching ourselves entirely from the world. Instead, it's about freeing the mind from unhealthy attachments, allowing us to experience life with clarity and openness. The Buddha aptly described this when he said, "You only lose what you cling to." To begin the practice of letting go, it is helpful to reflect deeply on the nature of attachment. Why do we hold on so tightly to certain things? It often stems from the illusion that they can guarantee our happiness or shield us from pain. A promotion, a relationship, or even our health can feel like the foundation of our well-being. Yet, life's impermanence teaches us that these things are always subject to change. When we resist this truth, we suffer, not because things change, but because we refuse to accept it. A powerful metaphor often used in Buddhist teachings likens this to holding a hot coal in our hand. We burn ourselves not because the coal is hot, but because we refuse to let it go. Understanding this intellectually is one step, but to truly embody it, we must train the mind and heart through practice. One effective way to cultivate the art of letting go is through loving kindness meditation. This practice is like watering the seeds of compassion and kindness within us, which in turn dissolves the grip of anger, resentment, or fear. Begin by sitting quietly and bringing to mind someone you care for deeply. Focus on wishing them well. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you live with ease. Then expand this circle of kindness to include yourself, acquaintances, and eventually even those you find difficult to love. This meditation doesn't just soften our hearts, it shifts our focus from what we lack to the abundance of goodwill and love we can create. As the Dalai Lama reminds us, if you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. By cultivating such boundless love, we loosen the chains of attachment and learn to approach life's challenges with a lighter heart. Letting go also requires us to embrace the present moment fully, for clinging often pulls us into the past or projects us into the future. Many of us carry the weight of regret over what could have been or anxiety about what might be, yet peace is only ever found here and now. A wise Zen saying captures this beautifully: let go or be dragged. When we learn to release these mental burdens, we become free to experience life as it is, not as we wish it to be. Mindfulness practices, like focusing on the breath or simply observing your thoughts without judgment, can help anchor us in the present. Over time, this presence dissolves the need to control or grasp, allowing us to respond to life with grace rather than reactivity. In modern life, the idea of letting go can seem counterintuitive, especially in a culture that often equates success with accumulation of wealth, status, and even relationships. But letting go does not mean we stop caring or striving. It means we stop identifying with outcomes as the sole measure of our worth. Consider this. Have you ever spent sleepless nights worrying about something, only to realize later that your anxiety changed nothing about the outcome? Letting go frees us from this futile cycle, enabling us to engage with life from a place of wisdom rather than fear. It's not about giving up. It's about giving ourselves permission to be at peace, regardless of what happens. Ultimately, letting go is a practice of trust. Trust in the natural flow of life, in our ability to adapt, and in the truth that happiness comes not from what we hold on to, but from what we release. This teaching is beautifully illustrated in a story often shared in Buddhist traditions. Two monks were walking along a muddy road when they encountered a woman unable to cross a large puddle. One monk picked her up, carried her across, and set her down on the other side. Hours later, the other monk, clearly agitated, said, "How could you touch that woman? We've taken vows against such contact." The first monk replied, "I set her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" Like the second monk, we often carry unnecessary burdens far longer than we need to. Letting go allows us to release these burdens, freeing our minds and hearts to move forward with ease. In your own life, start small. Notice where you cling, whether it's to an old grudge, a need for approval, or an ideal version of yourself. Ask yourself, is this helping me or hurting me? Then practice releasing it, even if only for a moment. Remember, letting go is not a single act, but an ongoing journey. With each step, you'll find a lighter, freer version of yourself waiting to emerge. As Thich Nhat Hanh wisely said, people have a hard time letting go of their suffering. Out of a fear of the unknown, they prefer suffering that is familiar. But the unknown holds boundless peace, joy, and the freedom to truly live. Take the leap, let go, and discover the unshakable happiness that arises when we free ourselves from the ties that bind. Number 5. Cultivating compassion and wisdom. To remain peaceful and happy regardless of what life throws at us, the teachings of Buddhism guide us to cultivate two essential qualities, compassion and wisdom. These are not just abstract virtues, but practical tools that can transform the way we experience life, helping us navigate its ups and downs with a steady mind and a kind heart. Compassion, at its core, means genuinely caring for others and striving to avoid causing harm. When we approach the world with compassion, we naturally dissolve feelings of anger, resentment, and bitterness. Think about this. When was the last time someone's kind gesture touched your heart or changed your day? Compassion works like that, a ripple effect, soothing not just others but also ourselves. A compassionate heart sees the shared struggles of being human and seeks to ease suffering wherever possible, be it through kind words, supportive actions, or simply being present for someone in need. Compassion is not weakness, it is strength, born from understanding that the more love we spread, the more peaceful our world becomes. Wisdom, on the other hand, is about seeing things as they truly are. It's not just about intellectual knowledge, but a deeper understanding of the nature of reality, recognizing the impermanence of life, the interconnectedness of all beings, and the causes of our suffering. Many of us go through life chasing fleeting pleasures or getting stuck in cycles of anger and fear because we misunderstand reality. Wisdom helps us break free from these delusions, showing us that much of our suffering arises from clinging, whether to material things, relationships, or even ideas about how life should be. A wise person doesn't get lost in illusions. They see clearly that life is always changing and that clinging to what's temporary only brings pain. But wisdom is not something we're born with. It's something we cultivate through practice, reflection, and a willingness to question our assumptions about life. Let me share a story that beautifully ties these ideas together. There was once a monk named Jaya who lived in a small mountain village. Jaya was known for his calm demeanor and radiant kindness. One day, a farmer came to him in distress. His crops had failed, and his family was going hungry. "Master Jaya," he cried, "why is life so cruel? I work hard, and yet I suffer. What should I do?" Jaya listened with compassion and then said, "Life, my friend, is like the seasons. Sometimes it is sunny, and sometimes the storms come. But how we respond to the seasons is up to us." Seeing the farmer's confusion, Jaya added, "When the storms come, instead of cursing them, prepare for them. Share what little you have with your neighbors. They will share with you. Look for wisdom in your hardship. It is teaching you resilience." Over time, the farmer followed Jaya's advice. He found that even in his toughest days, his spirit remained calm because he was no longer resisting the storms of life, but flowing with them. His kindness to his neighbors brought unexpected help, and his understanding of the seasons deepened his inner peace. You, too, can follow this path. Regularly cultivating compassion and wisdom can transform how you see and experience life. Start small, perhaps by reflecting on the struggles of someone close to you and asking yourself how you can ease their burden, or practice seeing situations from the perspective of others. This nurtures empathy, a close cousin of compassion. At the same time, dedicate time to growing your wisdom. Read Buddhist scriptures, listen to Dharma talks, or spend a few quiet moments contemplating the teachings you've come across. Wisdom arises when we combine learning with personal insight. Ask yourself, how do I respond to life's challenges? Am I holding on to things I cannot control, or am I finding peace in letting go? These questions can open the door to deep personal transformation. In the end, the key lesson is simple yet profound. To live peacefully and happily, we must nurture both our hearts and our minds. Compassion teaches us to connect with others and reduces the toxic emotions that weigh us down. Wisdom helps us navigate life with clarity, freeing us from ignorance and delusion. Together, these two qualities form a strong foundation for inner peace and happiness, no matter what happens around us. Number 6. Practicing gratitude. Let's talk about the profound practice of gratitude and how it can transform your life into one filled with peace and happiness, no matter what challenges come your way. At its core, gratitude is about shifting our focus from what we lack to what we already have. The Buddha taught that contentment is the greatest wealth, and when we cultivate gratitude, we unlock this timeless truth. It's not about ignoring the struggles or pretending that life is perfect. Instead, it's about embracing the small, often overlooked blessings that surround us every day. Have you ever paused to consider how incredible it is to wake up in the morning, to feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, or to hear the laughter of a loved one? These moments, though seemingly ordinary, carry immense potential to fill our hearts with joy if we let them. Gratitude lightens the mind. When you practice it, you start noticing a change, a gentle loosening of the grip that stress, worry, or negativity can have on you. Picture this. When our minds are consumed by what's missing or what's gone wrong, it's like carrying a heavy burden. But as soon as we redirect our attention to the good in our lives, we set that weight down, even if just for a while. The Dalai Lama beautifully said, "When you practice gratefulness, there is a sense of respect toward others." And it's true. Gratitude not only uplifts us, but strengthens our relationships, making us more compassionate, understanding, and open-hearted toward others. So how do we weave gratitude into our daily lives? It begins with intention. One of the simplest and most effective ways is to write down things you're grateful for each day. Maybe it's the taste of a warm cup of tea, the kindness of a stranger, or the lessons learned from a difficult experience. These don't have to be grand or profound. Sometimes the simplest joys carry the most meaning. Set aside a few minutes each evening to reflect and jot down 3 things you're thankful for. Can you think of 3 things right now that bring you joy? Take a moment to feel that appreciation. It's like watering the seeds of happiness in your heart. Another powerful method is gratitude meditation. This practice invites you to sit quietly and focus on the blessings in your life, one by one. Start with yourself, your breath, your body, your abilities. Then expand outward to the people you love, the opportunities you've been given, and even to the struggles that have helped you grow. You might notice a warm, peaceful feeling arising within, a sign that gratitude is beginning to take root in your heart. Of course, there will be days when it feels hard to be grateful, days when everything seems to go wrong, or when pain and loss overshadow the good. It's in these moments that gratitude becomes even more powerful. The Buddha taught us to approach life with equanimity, accepting both joy and sorrow with an open heart. Could it be that the difficulties we face also carry hidden gifts? When you're able to find gratitude even in the tough times, you transform those experiences into stepping stones for growth and resilience. Think of gratitude like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. At first, it might feel unnatural or even forced, but over time, it becomes a natural way of being, and the effects ripple outward. When you're grateful, you radiate positivity, which touches everyone around you. As Thich Nhat Hanh said, "Gratitude is the smile of the heart, and when your heart smiles, the world smiles back." So I ask you, what are you grateful for today? What simple moments, people, or experiences bring light to your life? Take a moment to reflect on these questions and see how they shift your perspective. Gratitude isn't just a practice, it's a way of seeing the world. And when you see through the lens of gratitude, you discover that peace and happiness aren't something you have to chase. They're already here, waiting to be embraced. As we conclude this journey into Nostradamus's chilling predictions for 2025, remember that his forecasts, whether warnings or enigmas, ultimately call us to reflect on the paths we choose as individuals and as a global community. While uncertainty may loom, hope and action remain our greatest tools for navigating the future. If you found this exploration thought-provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Journey of Wisdom. Turn on notifications so you won't miss our upcoming videos as we continue to unravel mysteries, share insights, and explore the wisdom of the ages together. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, stay curious, stay mindful, and keep striving for a brighter future.